Okay. Everybody getting up to eat? Yes? Alright. Last week, who was here last week? Good stuff. Okay. So last week we went over what it was all about. Just a quick recap. God made everything. We sinned. God left us and gave us everything because He loved us so much. And ever since then, God has been trying to show us how to live in His presence. That's what He's been doing. Because sin can't live in the presence of God. It's not that God can't live in its presence, but sin cannot live in the presence of God. And so that while we are sinners, if we ever come into God's presence, it's over for us. So, He made a covenant with the world. Well, actually, excuse me. He made a covenant with the Hebrew people. And that covenant is called the Abrahamic covenant or the Mosaic covenant. And in that covenant, there was they had to circumcise themselves, when they had to keep the commands that God gave to them. There were 613 of them. And if they kept the commands and they were circumcised, then they would be able to enter into the Lord's rest, which is a place reserved in Sheol, or what we call hell. Yeah, a paradise. It's a chamber of paradise where the patriarchs went. There's 4 chambers in Sheol, 3 for punishment, 1 for paradise. And you can read that in the parable of Abraham and Lazarus, right? Lazarus was in Abraham's bosom. The rich man was across the gulf, and he asked Abraham if Lazarus could dip his finger into the water and drop some on his tongue. And Abraham said, "No, I can't. There's a great gulf that divides us." They were in Sheol, okay? And that one chamber that Abraham and Lazarus was in was the chamber for paradise, and the chamber that obviously the rich man was in was the chamber reserved for punishment. So, the problem became that the Jewish people decided that they didn't need to love God, that they did not need to keep the "thou shalt not" commands, because God made a way for them to atone for sin through sacrifice of animals. And when the Lord increased them and established them, and they became a wealthy nation, they had many animals, and so that sacrificing an animal was nothing. And so that they did not love God, and they continued to sin with iniquity. Iniquity means lawlessness. They were in lawlessness because they did not love God, and therefore they keep His commandments. And so God decided that He was going to make a new covenant with the children of Israel. And in this new covenant, there would be no sacrifice. And so God sent His Son to the children of Israel. His name is Jesus. Born of virgin birth, walked this earth, worked many miracles, died on the cross, was resurrected, and ascended into heaven. Right? And He told us to do the things of this new covenant. Well, the children of Israel rejected the new covenant, just as it was prophesied. They rejected Christ. They rejected the new covenant. They did not want to live in the new covenant. They wanted to continue in the old covenant. They wanted to continue sacrificing animals for their sins instead of being sin-free. So, Christ directed His disciples to take this new covenant to the rest of the world. Praise Jesus. This is the reason why we can sit here today. This is the reason why we can sit here today, okay? That's what it's all about. We are trying to get back to God's presence, and that can only happen if we are sin-free. Grace is the forgiveness of sins in the new covenant. Christ's blood atones for our sin, for the sin of the world, for all sin, as a matter of fact. You see what I'm saying? All sin. If one sin makes you worthy of death, and all are guilty of sin, tell me, what is the point of keeping track of your sins? There's no point in it, is there? No, there's no point in it. So, sin is not being counted to you. It's not being counted to you because it's understood that all are guilty. Every single person is guilty. According to God's commands, every single person is guilty. But for those who believe, we can receive grace, which is the forgiveness of sin. But that's not enough. Forgiveness of sin is not enough. Now, maybe some of you have had relationships. Maybe there was something going on between you in your relationships. And I'll use myself for an example. I tried to kill my wife. And she forgave me. but we had no relationship. You see what I'm saying? You can forgive someone and not have a relationship. No, in order to continue having a relationship, it takes a reconciliation. Maybe you've heard of that. Yeah? You must be reconciled to the person to continue having a relationship. Okay? Now, reconciliation takes a few things to happen. First and foremost, it takes someone to mediate the reconciliation, someone to call you and the other person together and say, look, okay, guys, this is what needs to happen in order for you to continue having a relationship. And that's called the terms of reconciliation. You see what I'm saying? You have done something wrong, or the other person has done something wrong, and something must be done to make up for it. And until that something is done, the other person is not going to be satisfied having a relationship with you anymore. Does that make sense? Maybe some of you are in treatment right now as a result of this reconciliation. It's possible. Yeah, all right. So, Christ is the mediator of our reconciliation back to God. Yeah? And the terms of our reconciliation back to God is God's commands. Now, I don't know why, but it seems to be popular in the world today, guys. This seems to be popular, in the church house today, that we are free from the law. That's what they teach. In this new covenant, we are free from the law. Now, I put to you, if the violation of the commands is sin, how can we be free of the law? Okay. So what I want to go over with you today is what I said I would go over with you, because this is what Christ commands us. This is what Christ commands of us. There's two parts to this new covenant, guys. There's two parts. Matthew chapter 22, verse 34 through 40. But when the Pharisees had heard that he had put the Sadducees to silence, they were gathered together, talking about Jesus. Then one of them, which was a lawyer, asked him a question. Always the lawyer, right? Yeah. Saying, Master, which is the great commandment in the law? But Jesus said unto him, Thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy mind. This is the first and great commandment. And the second is like unto it. Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. On these two commandments hang all the law and the prophets, meaning the prophecies, or the warnings of the prophets, right? On these two commands hang everything. So today we're going to go over what it means to love God, you see. And then we'll go over what it means to love thy neighbor, okay? Jesus said love God first, then love thy neighbor as thyself, okay? And he said, on these two commands hang everything. Your salvation hangs on these two commands, guys. Okay? Alright. So what does it mean to love God? How can you love God? How can you love someone you can't see? How can you feel embraced by someone whom you cannot touch? Faith is good. That's a very good answer. Well, let's go see what John has to say. 1 John chapter 5 tells us how to love God. And I think some of you might be surprised, because it requires a few things. I should have marked these pages, but I didn't. My fingers are cold. This is New Bible. Greek translation. So I can get down on nitty-gritty on some of these words, like iniquity, which in the Greek means lawlessness. All right. 1 John chapter 5, verse 1. Whosoever believeth that Jesus is the Christ is born of God. Come on. And everyone that loveth him that begat, loveth him also that is begotten. Now, God begat Jesus. Jesus is the begotten of God. By this we know that we love the children of God, when we love God and keep His commandments. For this is the love of God, that we keep His commandments, and His commandments are not grievous. So Jesus says that we must love God and our neighbor as ourselves. And the way to love God is to love Jesus, your neighbors, and keep the commandments of God. Think about that. Think about that. That's pretty serious when you think about it. Because to lend credibility to what our king says, of course, our king needs no credibility. You just got to do what he says. You see what I'm saying? But he said we must love our neighbor as ourselves, and we must love God. And the way to love God is to love our neighbor, love Jesus, and keep God's commandments. And His commandments are not grievous. Now, I don't know, that seems pretty strange when, you got some folks telling you that we're not under the law, that we don't have to keep the law. You see what I mean? What is the law? What is the law of this land? How many statutes? How many KRS statutes? Anybody been to the picture? Yeah. How many KRS statutes are there in the law of Kentucky? Yeah. Okay. So in God's law, they're not called statutes, they're called commandments. Of course, you can call them statutes or ordinances as far as that goes. Yeah, but they're commandments, and that makes up the law of God. Yeah, the law is a body just like you. And every command in the law is an individual member of that body, just like you have individual members in your body. You got arms, you got legs, you got fingers, you got toes, you got nose, ears, arms. You see what I'm saying? Yeah? Okay, this is the law. And so we're told we're free from the law, that we don't got to keep the law. And yet, Jesus is telling us we must keep the commandments to love God. I don't know. Maybe that's not where our freedom lay. Let's find out what exactly Jesus has to say about this. Matthew chapter 5, verses 17 through 20. This is what Jesus said. Think not that I have come to destroy the law or the prophets. I came not to destroy, but to fulfill. And this is where everybody says Jesus fulfills the law. But that's not what he says. I came not to destroy the law, but I came to fulfill the prophecies. The prophecies. Do you see what I'm saying? This is what Christ fulfilled. 306 prophecies did He fulfill to be the Messiah. For verily I say unto you, till heaven and earth pass. Heaven and earth. Looks like it's still here to me. One jot or one tittle shall in no wise pass from the law till all be fulfilled. Now, there's still a lot of prophecies yet to be fulfilled, guys. Yeah? Judgment, tribulation, apocalypse, Jesus' second return, millennial kingdom, great white throne judgment, whole lots of stuff we're still waiting on. Whosoever therefore shall break one of these least commandments, and shall teach men so, he shall be called the least in the kingdom of heaven. But whosoever shall do and teach them, the same shall be called great in the kingdom of heaven. Now God is not a respecter of persons, guys. In God's eyes, there's two kinds of people. Good, bad. That's it. Good and bad. Do you see what I'm saying? You do not respect one person above another. Not one person is greater than another person in His eyes. We're all just as good as one another, or we're all just as bad as one another. Do you see what I'm saying? He's also not a respecter of sin. One sin is not worse than the other sin. Now we tend to label a crime, one being worse than the other, right? When you go to the jailhouse, some crimes all right? Some crimes not all right. And then some crimes, nah, man, you're total, it's over. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm just saying it's the lowest of the low in the jailhouse. Yeah, but God's not like that. No, with God, it's either good or it's bad. And so for Jesus to say, you shall be called the least in the kingdom of heaven, or the greatest in the kingdom of heaven. Good and bad. You see what I'm saying? I can only imagine where the least is going to go. For I say unto you that except your righteousness shall exceed the righteousness of the scribes and Pharisees, keepers of the law, ye shall in no case enter into the kingdom of heaven. keepers of the law. And to be honest with you, when we go over how to love our neighbor, I'm going to show you how to exceed the righteousness of the scribes and Pharisees. Okay? But first, let's find out how to love God. Okay? Let's find out how to love God. It took me a long time to do this, guys. I'm going to be honest with you. I've never worked so hard. I've never worked so hard as I have to go through the Bible and find all of thou shalt not in God's commands. I've never worked so hard. I've never taken such a long time to do this because it's that important. It's just that important. Now, I know in the church house, don't get me wrong, guys, I know you hear me say that church house a lot, like I'm picking on the church house, and I'm not. I'm not picking on the church house. But I will pick on those people in the church house, man, who are making a mockery of our King, who's making a mockery of our love for Him, man, who's making a mockery of our salvation for the sake of $1. I will pick on them, whoever they might be. Okay? Maybe some of you know that. But just to let you know, for some reason, we want to choose 10. Out of all the things, we want to choose 10 and say, this is it. This is it. I understand that. How many of you think that homosexuality is okay in God's eyes? Don't you know that is not one of the 10 commandments? But it is one of God's commandments in the law. And that strikes me as strange. How those folks that say we're free from the law will pick on homosexuality because God says it's wrong. Yeah? And it's a part of the law. I don't understand that. I don't understand that. How is that possible? Why is it when we go into the church house, we see the 10 commandments hanging on the wall, honoring them like they need to be, but just that, only the 10. When there are so many more, thou shalt not. I don't know. I can't go over all these with you guys. There are hundreds. I can't go over all of them. But I'm going to pick out a few. I am going to pick out a few. First and foremost, thou shalt have no other gods before me. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. What does he mean right there? You think he's talking about Buddha? You think he's talking about Molech or Baal or Beelzebub? No, he's not talking about those guys. They're not even gods. They're not even gods. How can you put them people before God? They're not even gods. He's not talking about them. Who is gods? People. Thank you. We are gods. And we were made in God's image. We were made in God's likeness. Do you see what I'm saying? What was Adam's sin? Does anybody know what Adam's true sin was? He hearkened to the voice of his wife instead of his creator. That was his sin. He hearkened to the voice of his wife. He put his wife before God. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Let that be a lesson to you. God is number one on your priority list, always. Number one. Nothing. Nothing and no one comes before God. He's that jealous, guys. He is that jealous. Now, I love my wife. I do. Don't get me wrong. But I don't adore my wife. You see what I'm saying? My adoration is a form of worship. And I worship the Lord God Almighty, creator of the heavens and the earth. Do you see what I'm saying? But you'll learn about that love next week. There's a difference between loving someone and worshiping someone. All right? Remember that. Let's see. And thou shalt not let any of thy seed pass through the fire to Molech, neither shalt thou profane the name of thy God. I am Lord. Think about that. Any of thy seed pass through the fire of Molech. Well, Molech was this imaginary god they made out of stone and wood. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. And they took their children and they sacrificed them to this guy, Molech. Oh, excuse me, let me give you the verses for that. That is Leviticus 18:21. All right, you guys want to look that up? You can look up Molech and learn a little more about him if you want, because it really pertains to something that's going on in this world right now. Thou shalt not let any of thy seed pass through the fire to Molech. They were sacrificing their children to this guy. How many children are murdered every day in this nation? How many children are murdered every day in this nation through abortion? Are they keeping this command? I don't know, man. Huh? I mean, I know they like to say, oh, they're not human yet, right? God said, I knew you before the foundation of the world. You, who you are, before you enter the womb, is known to God beforehand. You are. Do you see what I'm saying? You are beforehand. You are alive. You must be alive in order for God to know you before the foundation of the world. Huh? No abortion, guys. No abortion. And all things that I have said unto you, be circumspect, and make no mention of the name of other gods, neither let it be heard out of thy mouth. Man, have you seen that, what they're doing? They're going around the cities now, erecting statues of, what's it called, what's his name? I don't know. It's the one that Satan worships. It's a transgender god. It's got breasts, and it's a man, and it's got breasts, it's got hooves, goat's head. Yeah, there's erecting statues all over the place for this god. Here's one I like. You may not have heard before. Leviticus 10:9. Do not drink wine, nor strong drink, thou nor thy sons with thee, when ye go into the tabernacle of the congregation, lest ye die. It shall be a statute forever throughout your generations. How long is forever? Do you think that one's changed? Do you think we don't have to keep that one anymore? Just saying. Guys, afterwards, I'm going to make a list. And if anybody wants any of these, man, wants a copy of these, because I run out of ink printing them. But I will buy some more ink, and I will make copies and give them to you so that you can have them. Here's one, Deuteronomy 15:7, and I imagine this is one that all of us are guilty of. If there be among you a poor man of one of thy brethren within any of thy gates in thy land, which the Lord thy God giveth thee, thou shalt not harden thy heart, nor shut thy hand from thy poor brother. Don't they make laws against panhandling in the cities now? I mean, their ordinances? I know I see signs up. What do you think about that? God is telling us not to restrain ourselves, not to restrain our giving to those people who ask, who are poor. Huh? Why is that? Why has everybody gotten so hard-hearted? Jesus said at the time of the end, lawlessness would abound. And because of lawlessness, the love of many would wax cold. Do you think it's a lack of love that would cause people to not give? Huh? Do you think it's another sign that I could be right, that this might be the time of the end? Just saying. Oh, here's one. If thou lend money to any of my people that is poor by thee, thou shalt not be to him as a usurer, neither shalt thou lay upon him usury. What is usury? Is that interest? Huh? Is that interest? Usury, is that interest? You can look that one up if you want. Somebody got a phone, Google that if you like. But that's interest, man. We are not supposed to loan people money and charge them interest. That is a command. Thou shalt not give him thy money upon usury, nor lend him thy victuals for increase. Food. You ever been to a jailhouse? I'll give you 1 for 2 back. I'll give you 1 for 2, 1 for 3. Yeah, when you're really hard up. Alright. These are commands, guys. Stuff nobody is taking into account. No one is taking these things into account. And they wonder why the world is in such bad shape. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house, thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife, nor his manservant, nor his maidservant, nor his ox, nor his ass, nor anything that is thy neighbor's. Thou shalt not desire thy neighbor's wife, not just covet, but not even desire thy neighbor's wife, or those things. When thou comest into the standing court of thy neighbor, his field, his garden, then thou mayest pluck food with thy hand. Thou shalt not move a sickle against thy neighbor's standing corn. God has given you a right to go into other people's gardens and eat. But you can't harvest. Go and pluck and eat your field, but you can't harvest. What would they do to you today if you did that? Would they put you in jail for that? What do they call it? 3rd-degree criminal trespassing? Is that what they call it? You go on somebody's land without permission? Yeah. And we wonder why the world's in such bad shape. I was going to go over these, these got commands about justice too, but let's get code, and I'm not going to do all that. Here's a big one. What things soever I command you, observe to do it. This is Deuteronomy 12:32. What things soever I command you, observe to do it. Thou shalt not add thereto, nor take away from it. Anybody know what doctrine is? Doctrine. Those are made up commands, right? Think about this now. I want to share something with you. God says, thou shalt not add to nor take away from his commands. Now, sin is a violation of God's commands, and he's telling us not to add to or take away from his commands. And yet, when you go into the different denominations, they will tell you that certain things are a sin, even though there's no command. Like, for example, alcohol. There's no such command against the consumption of alcohol. And yet, they will tell you that drinking of beer is a sin. Now, I specifically quoted that don't go to church house drunk for a reason. Because that's the only command. Out of all 613, that's the only one that makes any reference to the consumption of alcohol. Now, if God is commanding us not to take away nor add to his commands, and when you go to some place like that that says this is a sin, do you think that's a good spot to go and learn the word of the Lord? I want the truth. If I'm going somewhere to learn, I want the truth. I don't want some made up stuff, man. I want the truth. Because how are you going to get there if they're not telling you the truth? That's something to think about. Because, a lot of you, in a few weeks, 2 months, whatever, you're going to be moving on. And truth be told, you need to find some place to assemble. You need to find some place to assemble, man. And we're going to learn why that is here in just a minute. But you need to find some place to assemble. But you need to go to some place that's telling you the truth. I'm just saying. Yeah. All right. I'm going to read all these right here real quick. These are laws. These are commands governing sexual relationships. Because this is a really, really big problem in the world right now. It starts in Leviticus chapter 18. Gosh, verses 7 through 23. The nakedness of thy father, or the nakedness of thy mother, thou shalt not uncover. She is thy mother, thou shalt not uncover her nakedness. The nakedness of thy father's wife shalt thou not uncover. It is thy father's nakedness. The nakedness of thy sister. It's chopped off. Oh, the nakedness of thy mother's daughter, whether she be born at home or born abroad, even their nakedness thou shalt not uncover. The nakedness of thy father's wife's daughter, begotten of thy father, she is thy sister, thou shalt not uncover her nakedness. You know, that'd be like a half-sister, right? All right. The nakedness of thy son's daughter, or thy daughter's daughter, even their nakedness thou shalt not uncover, for theirs is thine own nakedness. Thou shalt not uncover the nakedness of a woman and her daughter. Neither shalt thou take her son's daughter or her daughter's daughter to uncover her nakedness, for they are her near kinswoman. It is wickedness. Thou shalt not uncover the nakedness of thy father's sister. She is thy father's near kinswoman. Thou shalt not uncover the nakedness of thy mother's sister. She is thy mother's near kinswoman. Thou shalt not uncover the nakedness of thy father's brother. Thou shalt not approach to his wife. She is thy aunt. Thou shalt not uncover the nakedness of thy daughter-in-law. She is thy son's wife. Thou shalt not uncover her nakedness. Thou shalt not uncover the nakedness of thy brother's wife. It is thy brother's nakedness. Oh man, coupling. Yeah. Neither shalt thou take a wife for her sister to vex her, to uncover her nakedness beside her in her time menstruation. Moreover, thou shalt not lie carnally with thy neighbor's wife to defile thyself with her. Adultery. Adultery. Neither shalt thou lie with any beast to defile thyself therewith. Neither shall any woman stand before a beast to lie down thereto. It is confusion. There's some confusion going on in the world today, isn't there? Thou shalt not lie with mankind as with womankind. It is an abomination. It's funny. I don't see that command hanging on the wall. The nakedness of thy father or the nakedness of thy mother shalt thou not uncover. She is thy mother. Thou shalt not uncover her nakedness. Now, just to let you guys know, I mean, Jesus tells us not to pass judgment anymore, so we don't carry judgment out. But you know, in the old days, the judgment for violation of those commands in specific was death. Stoning. Just saying. Good thing Jesus says, judge not lest you be judged, huh, brother? Because there'd be a lot of dead people in the world today, wouldn't there? I'm not sure there'd be much anybody left alive. Craziness is going on right now. Okay. Hebrews chapter 10. No, excuse me. Those are some commands, guys. If you want to read those, you know, you need to read the books of the law, right? The end of Exodus, all of Leviticus, and Deuteronomy. This is where the law is, all right? You need to learn the thou shalt nots, because we are to keep the thou shalt nots. Because on the day that we stand before God, and we say, but, oh, we loved you, and he's going to say, but why did you do this when I said not to do that? Or, why did you do that when I said not to do that? You see what I'm saying? If we're loving God, which is to keep His commandments, keeping His commandments, or not doing the things He says not to do. That's keeping the command. Set free. Everybody says, well, I can't be perfect. I can't be perfect. You can't be perfect? You can't keep it in your pants? You can't tell the truth? Are you physically incapable of telling the truth? Are you physically incapable of not sticking things in your pocket or down your pants to steal? Or which of these things are you physically incapable of doing? So maybe we can be perfect if perfection cometh through not breaking the commands, because you know your King commands you to be perfect. Just saying. I mean, I hear that excuse a lot. I've used it myself. I can't be perfect. Only Jesus is perfect. Huh? And Jesus is telling us we've got to be perfect. We'll go over that next week. But first I want to read a little something here. Matthew chapter 28, verses 16 through 20. Jesus says, "Go ye among all nations, teaching the gospel, baptizing in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, and teaching all things whatsoever I have commanded you." You see what I'm saying? Now he confirms the commands of God. He confirms them when he says, love God with all your heart, mind, and spirit. He confirms them when he says, whosoever breaks the least of these commands and teaches others to do so shall become least in the kingdom of heaven. Christ has confirmed the commands of God in his new covenant. We'll read this last scripture, guys. I know it wins. It's cut me too. Now this is for those folks who tell you that you're in grace, that your sin is, it's okay, you know, that you're forgiven, don't worry about it, you know, those kinds of things, right? I've heard that a lot myself, and I'm here to tell you that you need to worry about it. All right. This is Hebrews chapter 10. The law, having a shadow of good things to come, and not the very image of the things, can never, with those sacrifices which they offered year by year, continually make the comers thereunto perfect. He's saying the sacrifices are not going to make people perfect. Think about that. How is the sacrificing of animals going to make you perfect? At the time, it may have atoned for your sin, but a sin atonement is not perfection, is it? No, perfection is not breaking the command. That's perfection. Huh? Not being forgiven. That's not making you perfect. No, what makes you perfect is when you love God and you don't break his command. That's perfection. Well then, would they not have ceased to be offered? Wouldn't they still be offering those sacrifices if the sacrifices perfected us? How about this? For those of us who are in the new covenant, huh? Would Jesus still being crucified on the cross every day if that's what made us perfect? It's a sacrifice, ain't it, brother? Ain't that the same thing? Don't we fall back on Jesus' sacrifice to make us perfect each and every time we tell a lie? Each and every time we sin? Isn't that the same thing the Jews did? They fell back on their sheep every time they wanted to go sleep with some chick. Is it not the same thing? They didn't fall back on their love for God and not break the command. No, they fell back on the sacrifice. But in those sacrifices there is remembrance again made of sin every year. For it is not possible that the blood of bulls and of goats should take away sins. Wherefore, when he cometh into the world, he saith, sacrifice and offering thou wouldest not, but a body hast thou prepared me, he's talking about Christ, and burnt offerings and sacrifices for sin thou hast had no pleasure, talking about God. The stench of the sacrifices going up into heaven made God sick at his stomach because it was all day long, every day. Then said I, lo, I have come to do thy will, O God. What's God's will? Keep his commandments. Above, he said, sacrifices and offerings and burnt offerings for sin thou wouldest not, neither hast pleasure in them which are offered by the law. Then said he, lo, I come to do thy will, O God. He take away the first covenant that he may establish the second. That's where we're at, the new covenant, guys. By which we are sanctified through the offering of the body of Jesus Christ once and for all. And every priest standeth daily, ministering and offering oftentimes the same sacrifices which can never take away sins. But this man, after he had offered one sacrifice, himself, for sins forever, sat down on the right hand of God. Now remember, I told you that Christ's sacrifice is for one to end sin for all time. Sin's not being accounted against you. You see what I'm saying? There's no point in it. From henceforth, expecting till his enemies be made his footstool, for by one offering he hath perfected forever them that are sanctified. How are we sanctified? By keeping God's commandments. Deuteronomy chapter 26, sanctify thyselves, be holy as I am holy, keep my statutes, keep my ordinances, and be ye holy as I am holy. I am the Lord God which sanctifies you. Sanctify yourselves, guys. Wherefore the Holy Ghost also is a witness to us, for after that he has said before, this is the covenant that I will make with them after those days, saith the Lord. I will put my laws into their hearts, and in their minds will I write them. Everybody feel guilty for doing something that's wrong? You reckon that's God writing his law on your heart? Don't you know that the commands teach you what guilt is? If there was no command, I wouldn't know what guilt was, would I? No. No, the command came so that you could understand what guilt was, so that you could live in the new covenant, which is directed by the Holy Ghost. And their sins and iniquities I will remember no more. Now, where remission of these is, there is no more offering for sin. Having therefore, brethren, boldness to enter the holiest by the blood of Jesus, by a new and living way which he hath consecrated for us through the veil, that is to say, his flesh, and having a high priest over the house of God, let us draw near with a true heart, in full assurance of faith, having our hearts sprinkled from an evil conscience and our bodies washed with pure water. How many been baptized, by the way? Yeah, good stuff. You know, we baptized here, guys. You all ever need it. Just follow. We'll get you in there. I'll make a brother out of you. Go take you to the Lord. Let us hold fast the profession of our faith without wavering, for he is faithful that promised. And let us consider one another to provoke unto love and to good works. What's it mean to provoke someone, by the way? How do you provoke someone? Do you do it with a whisper? Provoke unto good works and unto love. I'm here today provoking you unto love, man. Love God. Keep his commandments. Not forsaking the assembling of ourselves together as the manner of some is, but exhorting one another. That's to lift one another up. And so much the more as you see the day approaching, man. The day is approaching. Why do you think I'm such a madman, Debbie? For if we sin willfully, after that we have received the knowledge of the truth, there remaineth no more sacrifice for sins. So guys, yes, you live in grace, but guess what? Once you accept grace and you accept Christ's sacrifice to be forgiven, if you continue to go do the same things over and over, there is no more sacrifice for you, man. Do you see what I'm saying? How can you sacrifice Christ more than one time to be forgiven? You can't. That's exactly right. But a certain fearful looking for of judgment. This is what you can look forward to if you're going to continue to sin in grace. But a certain fearful looking for of judgment and fiery indignation which shall devour the enemies. He that despised Moses' law died without mercy under the witness of 2 or 3 people. Of how much more worse punishment suppose ye shall he be thought worthy of who trot under under foot the Son of God, and hath counted the blood of the covenant wherewith he was sanctified an unholy thing, and hath done despite unto the Spirit of grace. Those folks that say you're in grace, it's okay, huh? They trampling on our King, man. They trampling on the sacrifice of our King. It is a wrap. For we know him that hath said, vengeance belongeth unto me, I will recompense, saith the Lord. And again, the Lord shall judge his people. It is a fearful thing to fall into the hands of the living God. I'm telling you guys, you can't be perfect. You can't be perfect. Love perfects you. Love perfects you. Do you understand what I'm saying? And if you love God, that love for God will perfect you. Because when you sin and you have love for God, it will produce what's called godly sorrow in your heart. And you will not want to do that again, thereby becoming perfect. You can't be perfect. I'm telling you guys, this is it. This is the truth. This is what you need to be teaching your children, your relatives. That's where you start, huh? And when they laugh at you, or when they kick you out, or when they say no, 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 go to other nations. Those people outside of your homes, outside of your family members. Yeah? I'm just saying. Everybody wants their family to go to heaven. I understand this. But Jesus said, go ye among all nations, not just your own. Okay? I don't know which of you is going to do that. But I have faith that one of you will. Okay? I know it's cold, guys. I know it's cold. I'm going to wrap up. I have faith that some of you will. And the reason I have that faith is because when these signs from the sky, not just the times, but from the sky, start happening, somebody's going to get real. Somebody is going to get real, man. And they're going to understand that today is that day. That crazy man down on the waterfront that was jumping up and down all the time, shouting and screaming. Huh? Yeah? Alright. Was telling the truth. Oh my God. What was it he said? And the Holy Spirit will bring it back to your remembrance. I promise you. Alright? Alright. Let's go to the word close, guys. Let's go. Father, we give thanks for this word today, Father. We give thanks for your commands, Lord. We give thanks for you telling us how to love you, Father, that we might be able to share our love with you, to show our love for you, Father. But more important than that, Lord, we thank you for loving us first. We thank you for taking that first step towards us, Lord, and giving to us, covering us, blessing us, forgiving us, Lord. All the things that it just seems so hard for us ourselves to do for other people. Lord, I pray that throughout this week, Father, you put some of these men in a situation where they can receive the joy, Father, of doing the right thing, of saying the right thing, teaching the right thing, Father, as we prepare ourselves next week to learn how to love our neighbors, Lord, as well as our King. Father, we praise your name and we give thanks in all things. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Alright guys, if you camped out, I need you to kind of hang back here after we go do the sacrilege and everything. I've got a few things for you. Thank you.